This video is about my experience with the game XCOM 2. XCOM 2 is a turn-based tactics game. It's a sequel to the 2012 game XCOM Enemy Unknown. In previous game, aliens have invaded Earth and you were fighting the invasion. You were unsuccessful and the aliens have implemented themselves openly amongst the populace and have taken control of the government. Using lies and propaganda, the majority of humanity now believe in a peaceful coexistence with the aliens. 20 years later is when XCOM 2 takes place, and you play as a protagonist called the Commander, who's not pictured. And you build a resistance to fight the aliens and to discover their agenda involving something called the Avatar Project. Really? You're building resistance to fight back the aliens. As the commander, you are tasked to give orders to squad mates in battle against aliens during missions. Soldiers can be recruited, with each soldier class having their own skill tree and abilities. For example, Rangers are equipped with melee weapons like swords that give them devastating melee abilities. Meanwhile, sharpshooters specialize in using a sniper and pistol. The game easily reminds me of the series Fire Emblem, or perhaps even a chessboard. You have all your characters with their abilities and you move them among these tiles and have them perform actions. The game requires an immense amount of strategy and a lot of thought and decision making come into effect. Since you don't fire the guns for your soldiers and only tell them who to shoot at, the game doesn't require skill in the traditional sense, but rather it requires a lot of mental skill. That is probably the main reason why I enjoyed it so much.
I got nothing.
Customization also returns, in which players, me, can customize their soldiers' personalities, names, uniforms, costumes, genders, nationalities, weapons, and even their biography. I think this customization feature is one of the fun contributions to the game. Personally, I always like to make my characters based on other video game characters. I don't know why, I just do. Here, I made a side operative who I named Reaper, based off the Reaper from the game Overwatch. I also made some other characters, including Jill Valentine, who is a melee ranger. Her character is based on the Resident Evil franchise, specifically Resident Evil Revelations, where the character model Jill Valentine looks very similar. I also made Sombra, a character based on Sombra from Overwatch who has the same color scheme, similar hairstyle, and hacking abilities. I really enjoyed this feature. And when a character dies in the game, they're permanently dead. The fact that I can customize them to such an extent really pushed me harder to keep them alive, every single one of them. I really like this feature and I feel like it's one of the great experiences in the game. Some brief memories I have of the game include using powerful abilities, such as the sniper's serial ability. This ability allows him to take another shot with his sniper if his preceding shot killed someone. So normally, after you take a shot, your turn would end for that character. But with this ability, as long as he kept killing someone, he can fire again, and again, and again, and again. Abilities like this were very memorable, and they felt very enjoyable. They're very refreshing, and they were fun to use. Rangers had a similar ability with their melee skill. Some other brief memories I have include the Avatar Project Doomsday Clock. That was a nightmare. For a while, I was confused how to slow down the progress of that doomsday clock or even halt it. And I actually had to look online at some guides just to understand how that whole mechanic in that game was working. It was driving me nuts. It was infuriating for a while. So I actually almost had game over because I didn't understand that mechanic. However, once I got it, I quickly got it under control. So another memory I had was just that frustration from that doomsday clock. The third memory I want to talk about was the constant reloading of a save file. I mainly did it after an unsuccessful hack in the game, like you're about to see here. I was stubborn in my hacks. Although not always going for the best outcome, the hack did always have to be successful or it was reload time. I probably spent a quarter of the game in the loading screen just because of how often I was doing that. These three things were definitely memories I have of this game. Admittedly, I played the game on the easy difficulty, and I would love to go back and play on the harder ones, but I don't have the time. The easy difficulty, although not a speedrun, clocked me in at about 50 hours. Each playthrough is a commitment. I did have to occasionally take a break from the game too. Mission after mission after mission gets a little repetitive. No two missions were the exact same, but once I had found my own fundamental strategy down, it became a matter of repeating the same steps each mission. So it was just rehashing of the same strategy. I did enjoy getting so many flawless missions done. Every single one of those felt like an accomplishment. Overall, I did enjoy XCOM 2, and it was one of the highlights of the year. I enjoyed it so much that if it wasn't for having so many other games to play, I'd be playing it even now. And believe me, when I say it was the highlight of the year, that's one of the highest compliments I can give. Well, this has been my experience with XCOM 2. Thanks for watching.